welcome to the Lisa Saunders Show. I'm Lisa Saunders, and I have 3 guests. 2 I just met for the first time today, so I'm going to let Michael introduce you. And Michael, I will let you introduce yourself because you're so good at it.
Okay. So I'm Michael Whitehouse. I'm known to some as the guy who knows a guy, after the book of the same name, The Guy Who Knows a Guy, about networking, which actually you inspired me to write in the first place, but basically focusing on networking. Mm-hmm. And the guests that we have here are Karen Etchells and Rachel Dash-Dougherty, and they've actually both been guests on my podcast, which is the Guy Who Knows a Guy podcast.
Now, how can we find that?
You actually go to anchor.fm/Guy Who Knows a Guy.
Okay, and if we forget all that, if we just go to Guy Who Knows a Guy, we'll find it.
GuyWhoKnowsAGuy.com will also,
it'll direct us
there.
to it.
Yeah, I finally unified all my brand into Guy Who Knows a Guy.
Yes, well, that is you, because people were calling you the mayor at a meeting I went to. Oh, Michael, mayor. So everybody knows you, and you've only lived in Groton for how long?
Since 2014.
Okay, and you
So
already
5
know
years.
everybody.
Well, not everybody. There's I think there's someone walking by on the sidewalk I haven't met yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're going to meet them.
I'll meet them on the way out.
Yeah, and that's what you're all about, is networking. In your book, you talk about how to meet people and what to say to them, especially at a business networking event, because life is full of them when you own your own business. You need to go out there and meet people and tell them what you do, and you're very good at that.
Well, and a lot of us just being alert to opportunities when you do meet people of what potential value can be to each other, and like. Karen, we met at a BNI meeting. I think was where we first met. And then,
now, what does BNI stand for?
Business Network International.
You met her there.
Yep.
And what is your full name and what do you do?
I'm Karen Etchells. I am a digital marketing strategist with Innovast Digital Marketing.
Okay. Is that a company you started?
I did.
I
started it at the end of 2015 after I was laid off from an agency position. So I had to decide whether I was going to go for regular traditional employment or if I wanted to start my own thing, which I had done before. I had always done some freelancing, but it was the best thing I ever did.
And that's a big industry right now. Everybody's trying to figure out how to get on top when people are doing Google searches, or how to get known.
It's very noisy on the web.
Yeah,
so,
it is. So you and it was kind of fun because you gave us some tips right before the show started. Because we all have websites, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
I just updated mine, and I can't wait to hear more tips and tricks.
So we talked about, like, you were scolding us because we can't always. Some people don't know somebody's website, and so they want to do www. So people know it's a website, and that's what I do. But sometimes when I go and check them, I don't get there.
Right, that's a setting on the server just to turn that on or turn that off. And normally, whether the www is in there or not, still the website will come up. But every once in a while,
I've had it not come up because I double check when I do work for other people. I just double check their website, and sometimes I don't always get. And they're the ones who gave it to me that way.
Right.
With the www.
But a big thing right now, which is a recent change, is that you have to have HTTPS.
Yeah.
Have to have a secure website, and yet used to be something that you only needed to do if you were doing e-commerce online, transactions and handling money. But now Google wants the web to be more secure as a whole, and so they will give a boost in rankings to websites that are secure.
Now, how do you know to get one of those?
And the way you know if you have it is if you put HTTPS in the front instead of HTTP without the S.
Okay.
So, and that's a security certificate that some hosts will provide you for free and others charge for, depending on where you're hosted.
So you need to know who. Is that something you recommend to people?
Oh, for sure. Because I give lots of advice on how to be found on Google. That's just one of many factors. And you know if you have it by putting in that S after the HTTPS. If your website doesn't work with it in there, then you don't have it and you need it.
I want to get back to, search engine optimization, because people always hear about that to get on top. So let's get back to that. But first, I want people not to be dying of curiosity, like who you are.
I can wait. I'm very patient. That's part of my job, is to be quiet and listen a lot of the times. So I'm Rachel Dash-Dougherty, and I'm a therapist. I work out of my office in Mystic.
What kind of therapist?
I work a lot in the present moment, so I do mindfulness and self-care focused. I use yoga, and I work with women who are experiencing anxiety, self-esteem challenges, relationship issues, on learning how to set boundaries and be comfortable in their body to find balance and juggle all the things we have to juggle.
But you have a license of this. It's not just that you
Oh
just,
yes,
it's
I don't
not
just
that
do
you
it for
burn
fun.
some candles, smell the good
No.
smell, and say,
No, that can be fun too. But no, actually, I'm a licensed clinical social worker.
and
so I
that's
had
years of school.
many years of school,
Yes.
and then many years of studying and practicing, and then an exam, and then
Okay.
supervision hours. So I did all of that. After I moved to Connecticut is when I got my license
Oh, when
in
did you
doing
move to
that.
Connecticut?
In 2014 or 2013, so we moved here around
so
the
you're
same time.
Fairly new.
Yeah, recent transplant. Yep.
Oh, from where?
From New York City.
Oh my gosh, is this quite a change?
Quite a change, yeah, but that's okay. Really like it. We've slowed down. I can't believe how quiet it is
It's
all the
wonderful.
time
Like,
at night.
we
It's
actually
bizarre.
go for a drive for fun. You know, you
Sure.
never do that when I'm from New York, not New
No.
York. Well, I did used to live
I
in
would
Queens,
not
but
do that,
Yeah,
sure.
we never just went in a car for
No,
fun.
no, you
Now
walk. You walk or go to the train for fun. And that's how I got to high school, walking in trains. It
Did
was
you
great.
really? You
Oh,
took
yes.
a train to high school?
Yeah, there's no other way to get there.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh, that's a story.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Oh,
know
man.
everybody in New York did it, but the rest of the world's, you got
Oh,
on
I
a
know.
train?
Yes, we also call middle school junior high.
Ah, okay.
I don't know. I didn't know what middle school was for a really long time.
Oh, and then you found out.
Then I found out. I moved here. So, but back to my therapy office. Yes, which is in Mystic.
So that's in Mystic. You live near me. I should walk down.
yeah, I was
Where-
walking over. I'm in the
where
old
are you?
Mystic Mill. It's had many lives. It's right on the river.
Is it an old Mystic?
It's yeah, and by the old Mystic General Store.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
wonderful.
People
and
drive
that
by
brick
and have-
building, or
Yep.
it's marshy looking
Yep.
there. I've
Yep, that's
kayaked
me.
almost up to that.
Oh, you should walk. You could walk right into my office from there. Yeah, you could kayak
Is there a
right
place
up.
to land?
Yeah,
Like a-
totally. There is.
Oh,
There's probably a
so
little
next
dock
time I'm
back
just have a problem.
Just roll on up. I'll pop out. We could talk. Yeah, I'd love to do that. That'd be great. I look forward to the summer.
Intermodal transport.
Yeah, you just like we'll have like a special honk, and I'll come out or paddle wave. Yeah, so I do. I work a lot with women, like I said, and it's a beautiful building.
Yes.
It's very historic, and people come in all the time. Like I used to get, my taxes done here. I got my nails done here. There's a chiropractor. It's had many lives, so it's nice. It's a really nice space, and I do yoga across from my office. And
Now,
I do
you
it
were licensed to do yoga and
Yes.
therapy. This isn't just because you liked yoga and you wanted to
Yes.
make everybody stretch.
No, yes,
There's
that's
actually a
fun, too.
point to it. Can you tell me what the
Absolutely.
point is?
Yeah, I went for a week-long training, and I am trained in trauma-sensitive yoga, which means it's not a traditional yoga class where there can be, a lot of, especially if you've been through something traumatic, you might not feel present or in control of your body. And so the idea is by the end of each session, you feel a little bit more in control because you've decided what you're going to do instead of me saying, we're going to do this pose now. We're going to do this shape, and you have to do it right now. I'll say something like, your shape might not look the same as mine, right? We're going to put our hands over our head today, but you might have your hands here. Or you can leave them at your side. Or
So
maybe
you don't
just
make
one
fun
arm.
of them.
I do not make fun of them because I'm doing it right along with you. And our shapes aren't going to look the same because our bodies are different, right? We're two different people with different experiences. And so that helps you really gain a lot of control back over your body if you've been very disconnected.
So is this good for anxiety attacks?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep, we do a lot of grounding work, hence the name Grounded Therapist.
But I don't really understand what that means. Like a lot of people throw these terms around. Like
Grounding?
what
Yeah,
does that
absolutely. That's
mean?
that's one of the things I wanted to share today is a grounding skill. So one, it's just you take your shoes off, right? If you come into my office when I'm not ready for you, you will find me sitting there with no shoes on because I like being able to feel the carpet or feeling the mat underneath me when I do yoga. So you take your shoes off, you have no socks on because you're grounding, right? And you can even envision, right, the mat. Below the mat is the floor. Below the floor is some dirt. But in my office, there's
So
water.
grounding means
right?
ground, you know?
Ground. But also there's some skills like it's really staying present in the moment, right? So you can name 5 things that you can see, right, without having to go anywhere. 4 things that you can touch, again, without having to go anywhere, because that means you have to be in the present moment. You can't
Okay,
be
'cause-
the place you have to go, the place that you just came from, the thing that happened, the thing that's going to happen later. You have to be in my office, because you can also name the things that you can hear, that's 3 of them, 2 things you can smell, and then you roll your tongue around your mouth and you can tell me something you taste. And for me, it's always coffee, so.
Because I had severe anxiety attacks after my daughter was born, severely brain damaged.
Yeah.
So it was a big shock.
Yeah.
And it took me about 8 months to start smiling again and to realize there's a reason to go on. But I had debilitating anxiety attacks, and I probably should have seen a therapist. Is that
Yes.
when?
Before the panic sets in is a good time to call. right?
Okay, because like I didn't have them at first because I think you're in denial, so you're trying to
Absolutely.
just survive.
And shock, I'd say, yeah.
And then, but then it started like the reality, and I couldn't get up, and I
course
couldn't
not.
get
Plus
off the
all those
couch, and I'm taking
hormones.
care of kids.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I
Right,
had
and you're
things
not
I had to
sleeping.
do, and I ended up
Absolutely.
taking Valium, which did help
Yeah,
because I
of
would
course.
calm down and say, okay, this isn't the end of the earth.
Right, and I always say no pills without skills, right? So pills and skills.
So you
have to
believe
have
in
both.
pills? Oh, I like that because it rhymes.
Yeah,
I'm
and
a
it's
writer,
not
you know.
mine. It's somebody else's. I want to
But
say
I
it's
like
Brene
that
Brown or
pills and
something.
skills
Yes.
because All right, so you're not opposed to somebody if they're just out of control. You would say maybe you need to see a doctor. And
Yeah.
Okay.
Always rule out the medical as part of the deal and
Okay.
talk to somebody. You want to have a team, right? So you want to have your support system in place, which means family, friends. You want to have prescribers and doctors that you like that are looking at you. They should be doing a scan for depression at the, even right after you have your baby when you do your follow-up appointment.
Oh, they
They
actually,
should
they're
and do
starting to,
now,
actually,
yeah. And depending on the time frame, I know when I had my daughter that they were asking me all those questions, and I was grateful, and I was okay, but I'm glad that they were checking, right? And so then, after that, I kind of lost my train of thought. We were talking about thinking about depression and then when to call
Yeah,
somebody, and
so-
it's somewhere in between, right? The crisis it's not too late. It's never too late. There are lots of crisis lines. Connecticut has an amazing mobile crisis unit for adults and for teens.
Okay.
That exists. You just call 211 and they'll get you connected.
Oh, I didn't know that. That
Yeah.
sounds easy. Okay.
It's very easy. It's 3 numbers. Yeah.
Okay.
And so that's like a non-emergency line. And you can make an appointment. You can use your insurance to look up.
Do you
therapists.
take insurance?
I do, yeah. And
Okay.
I'll always take out of pocket and out of network, but yeah, I take Cigna, Medicaid, and
Okay, so you take a bunch of them, so that that's something they could do. Now, if you get anxious because you don't know if your business is popping up high on the internet, who are you
That's
going
right. I'm gonna call this lady over here. But I'm gonna tell you to breathe and then make a phone call. Absolutely.
So what are ways, like with this term, I hear it used all the time, and I think it's annoying, SEO, and everyone, oh, your SEO, and I hate that. What am I, search engine optimization.
That's what it means, search
But-
engine optimization.
So what are some tips to get our websites or blogs or whatever on
to
high?
bring it down into its simplest format, what you want to do is to get into the mind of the person who needs your services. And what would they key into Google? And those phrases need to be interwoven into your content. However, it's worthwhile to research how many people are actually searching for those terms, so that sometimes people come to your website and it's not what you think that brought them there. You want to have the right terms, and also you don't want to choose terms that are too broad so that you'll never be found. For instance, if people just put in therapist, I want a therapist, they're going to get hundreds and
So many
thousands of
people.
results, right?
Okay.
So I want a therapist in Mystic that specializes in women's anxiety. So those terms would be very important to have on your website to predict what people might be searching for to find these services.
So how do you figure out what people are looking for?
There are tools that will tell us the actual search volume of certain phrases. And that's what we use. And then you're looking for that sweet spot where if it's too narrow and too niche, there are not enough people searching for it. And if it's too broad, there's too many. So you have to find that sweet spot and then interweave those words in the right places and the right kind of placement in your website so that, for instance, there's title tags. They're bolder, they're bigger. Google gives slightly more weight to title tags than regular text. So some of those key terms that you would like to attract those people into your site, put them in a title, and then you would rank, higher for those terms.
And I
Yeah.
think the great point you brought up too is getting to the heads. A lot of people who are not tech savvy, and I think not tech savvy and bad at math are kind of two of those things where people put it in their own head. They're like, oh, I'm not bad at math, I don't try. I'm not good at technology, so I don't try. I mean, my grandfather started using email at 75 in the 90s to do email marketing, and was very good at it. So, anyone can do it regardless of age, but I think they kind of get in their head of like, oh, I don't understand this new marketing, this digital marketing, but really it's just have a message that's going to reflect your business and resonate with your audience, whether it's Facebook or Google or print or billboards or TV, the concept's the same. And if it doesn't follow that basic marketing principle, then, because I think some people get in trouble, some whiz kid will come in and be like, oh yeah, we're going to use advanced algorithms, the blockchain and the social media and the whoop-de-doo and the zing-da-dang and give me $500 and it'll be amazing.
And what did you just say?
Right.
Yeah, because I meet with people who say, I'm paying $500, $1,000, $2,000 a month, and I say, so what are you getting for it? They say, digital marketing.
Sure, but the thing is, you need to watch your analytics, even on Facebook, and on other social media. There are insights there, and it will show you who is actually coming to your page. And especially Google Analytics is very robust. It'll tell you who's coming, even what pages they're visiting, how long they're staying, where are they coming from, so that you can see gee, is it worth spending this much time on social media? Are people coming from social media? If they're not coming from social media and I'm spending time there, maybe I'm not putting the right content there that is resonating with people and inspiring them to explore deeper and maybe explore your website. So, yeah.
And of course, strategize to actually convert them.
Right.
Because if they don't
Right.
actually
Right.
buy something or
Lots
come
of
through the
clicks.
door, it doesn't matter. You know, 1 million impressions are worth nothing if none of them.
Calls to action.
Yep.
They should be
Yep.
in all your social media posts, on your website pages. Each page at the end of the content, when you've delivered that content, what do you want your user to do?
Book
Yeah,
an
I'm guilty
appointment.
of forgetting to book an appointment.
Right,
Or
do
buy
something
a
now.
book,
What?
Or but I've had people just simply tell me, share this on your Facebook. Oh yeah, okay. You know what I mean? And I know stuff like that, but for some reason, because I think something you were doing is you asked me to share. I was like, oh yeah, I should be doing that. You know. Anyway, so yeah, even that, as simple as share it. If you
Oh,
don't
yeah.
have something specific that you want them to
And
do.
on Facebook as well, posts that get interaction quickly. Like right after you post, if somebody comments, likes and comments, but if there's activity on that post, it's going to get further reach. And we all know that Facebook kind of reeled back on the exposure it gives to businesses. But if you post and craft your post in such a way that it resonates with people and they're talking about it underneath, then you're going to get naturally more exposure. Facebook will push it out. And certain kinds of content get more exposure. So.
And that's also a place where the human networking ties into the social networking, because if you contact your supporters and say, hey, I just posted this, could you share it for me?
That can work.
Then you can get, 6, 7, 8, 12 shares, and then Facebook.
Even naturally, like if people, like I remember what was in your book and that resonated with me, and oh, that's a good point, I'm going to share that, for example. Then naturally people will share content that's great. Yeah.
Yeah, if it helped them, but it's funny how you have to remind people what to do and remember yourself why you're doing this. What do you find is the best way of you actually need more people face to face than you do need to be famous online.
I do a bit of both.
Okay.
So for most of the time I was here, it was more face to face. But I've been on social media since 2002.
Okay.
Facebook started in 2003. So I was actually on LiveJournal for those who remember that. It was more niche. But I've been using social media in various ways and experimenting with it for about close to 2 decades. But what I found really has worked well is that face-to-face contact, being able to connect with someone and engage with them back and forth. And even if it's digital, it's best to engage with a person, because social media is more about the public, the masses, the population. But ultimately, you want to zero it into a person and a person and a person. So what I do is I go where people are. So I do a lot of networking events, business after hours, business.
Do you go to ribbon cuttings and things like that?
Yep.
Because that's a good place to meet people.
Yeah, ribbon cuttings, they're hit or miss because some of them are fantastic events with hundreds of people there.
I always love with free food.
Yep.
Anywhere with free food.
And some of them it's like you, the chamber, and the staff of the organization. But even there, I went to a ribbon cutting in New London recently, which was pretty much me, the chamber, the staff of the organization, a couple of other people. And I still made 2 or 3 great contacts and happened to bump into someone I'd been looking to meet or looking to get a chance to talk to, because she's actually another one of the speakers at the Southeast Connecticut Business Conference who I wanted to have on the podcast. So that's when you go out where there are people, you're going to run into people, and that's the first thing. You're not going to run into anyone at your home office, or at least probably not unless you're breaking into your house.
Sometimes even those smaller events give you opportunities to have deeper conversations with people you might not have otherwise gravitated towards talking to. So it's opportunities.
And the other thing I've been doing is I have been using social media to sort of strengthen that in person. So I daily actually got this idea from a friend of mine of doing a daily selfie. And just
I really like your dailies.
Yep, and it's just a selfie, a quick
everywhere on
update,
my
just
feed.
something about what's going on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And Instagram.
So are you going to stick that picture that we took of us under SCCTV sign? Are you going to stick that somewhere? Are we going to see ourselves?
Yes,
okay.
that will definitely be.
And tag us.
And I'm trying to get in the habit of doing more. So I'm not in the habit of doing selfies with people, so I need to get in that habit. But when people see that, it's branding.
Right.
and branding, and that's what I
Well,
do.
actually, your hair always looks good, and your beard. So it's good that you have that because you don't look like
That is
everybody
definitely-
else, even though a lot of people have it. Anyway, you do it
I
right.
definitely don't look like anybody else. Nobody ever, except for George Lucas. People think I look like George Lucas. But other than that,
I can see that.
random strangers at 7-Eleven will be like, "Hey, George Lucas," but no one else is ever like, "Oh, is that Bob?" No. But I was, it's about getting the brand out. And, branding is simply putting your name, your face, your brand, your logo, whatever it is, in front of people over and over again. Right. And so I do that with Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and then sharing good advice with them. But I started really in December, January, doing it in earnest, and we're recording here in March, and I'm talking to people, and they're like, "I'm seeing you all over the place.
Yeah,
You're all over
everywhere.
all over my Instagram. You're all over."
Right, and that's why you were called the mayor at this,
Yeah.
even though you're not the mayor.
Yeah, and a lot of it's kind of creating that perception.
Yeah.
Right, that you're
You're
everywhere.
building a personal brand.
And you are.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
And the important thing is anyone can do that. I don't spend hours.
Right.
I don't have like 4 hours blocked out my schedule. I am spectacularly busy.
And the thing is, too, a lot of people, I think, wait for that perfect moment. They want to have their makeup, well, the women, they want to have their makeup and their hair just right and everything. And the thing that's wonderful about what you do is that you're just going along your daily routine and
This is
you're
where
doing
you
click,
are.
click,
Yeah.
click,
Yep.
and you're sharing daily life. And
Yeah.
everybody can relate to that. It's like people love to watch other
Definitely,
people.
Yeah.
So
And I probably spend, on average, maybe 15 minutes a day. Every once in a while, I'll get inspired and do a 4 or 5 minute video, so that obviously takes a little bit longer because it takes 5 minutes to record a 5-minute video, and then a little bit of upload time. But it's not like I'm doing it from the phone, and it's now set up so Instagram will share directly to Facebook and
Yes,
Twitter
that is really
if you
helpful.
link that. So I'm actually doing it through Instagram, and then I need to remember to do LinkedIn. And I'm not perfect. I keep forgetting different platforms.
Lots of
Someone
platforms.
mentioned watching my YouTube videos. I'm like, right, I have a YouTube. I need to post there. But it's and you can do it wrong. You can say bad things and whatnot. But as long as you're getting it out somewhere, it's not like the internet's going to say, "Oh, you haven't posted to YouTube in 8 days, demerit." As long as you're getting it out there, if I don't post a selfie for a day, it's not a big deal. If my hair's out of place, if the wind's blowing,
Yeah,
no
you'll
one's
get
gonna
a
be
new one
like,
out there.
no one's gonna be like,
Yeah.
look at that, look at that.
Now, what I
loser's hair."
really have always admired about you is that a lot of your message to other people to help them is always about, you're kind of like the Kennedy who said, don't think about what the country can do for you, what can you do for your country? And you actually live that. I've seen it many times where you're always walking around, how can I help you? What do you need? And you connect people. So I've told you things that I've not wanted at times, and you've come up with a really good idea. And I told you something a friend wanted, and you, okay, I just happened to be that I'm talk to this other person who needs that person to work on a project similar to that.
And one thing, actually, kind of getting back to what Rachel's saying on anxiety.
Yeah, I was actually going to bring that up too.
Yeah,
but
I was
yeah.
thinking about that to some degree. I think that may have started as an anxiety coping mechanism.
Definitely it is.
Yeah.
And actually, I was going to point out if
Tell
there's-
us.
you guys are
Yeah, tell
wonderfully
us. How
good
can we
conversational
fight
holders, but,
anxiety?
that's an anxious response, right? To believe that somebody is definitely going to judge you. And a little bit that does happen on social media, but who are those people? Where are they? What are they doing? Right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
considering no one is worried about you. When you're in the grocery store, no one is judging you.
right.
No one's going, "Oh, Lisa, your hair is out of place," or like, "Rachel,
They're
you have
all
lipstick
worried
on your
about
teeth."
their own
You're
hair.
worried about your own hair. You're worried about your own teeth. You're worried about where you have to go next and what, right? Which is where that grounding can come in, is to stay in the present. But if you look around a grocery store, nobody looks you in the eyes. I've been playing around with that a little bit over at Big Y, and no one is looking at you because no one
That's
cares.
interesting.
And
They're
so it's really
themselves.
comforting because everyone's lost in their own stuff.
Yes.
Which is hard to connect, but it's also good to manage.
But what I was also
anxiety.
say is in some, when I came here in 2014, didn't know anyone.
Yeah.
And so I'm coming as a new guy. Some of the anxiety is like, why would people work with me? Why would they like
And
me?
that's why you
Right.
turn around
And
and see
so-
what you can do for them.
So I'm like, well, let me
right?
figure out how I can help them, and then it just kind of
That
kept
takes-
doing
Yeah,
it. And then I
sure.
realized,
Builds,
kind of did the math on it, and realized I could just give continuously,
Yes.
and it won't hurt.
Right.
And because I'm not,
It takes your mind off yourself.
I'm not giving
and-
them, piles of
But
money
we
out of
only
my
have
pocket.
like 5 minutes left, less than 5 minutes left. Now you're actually having a conference, so
Yes.
tell me about that. And you are having these fine ladies get up and
We'll
speak.
be there.
Yeah.
It's
So
gonna be awesome.
please tell me what the conference is about, and then I kind of want to hear what each of you are going to be talking about.
So the Southeast Connecticut Business Conference, the concept of it is it's something I realized we don't have here in Southeast Connecticut and should. We have
Right.
lunch and learns and standalone classes, but when you have to go to a single class, it kind of takes a chunk out of your day. That's if you're gonna take a chunk out of the day, just take the day and really work with people and get the networking value. So it's going to be at Ender's Island,
Which is fun as heck.
beautiful.
So,
and-
like a
gorgeous.
therapist must like that idea, right?
Yeah,
We're going to be
loving
looking
out.
at
Very
ways.
calming.
That's
Yeah,
very
very
soothing.
calming.
and then the food's
Absolutely.
fantastic. So it's a
It
great,
is. It is
fantastic venue.
delicious.
And there's going to be, we're going to have 9 speakers. I believe we're actually going to have 10 speakers because Michelle Jacobic, we've moved her to a not a keynote spot, but basically a standalone portion of the conference because there's so much interest in seeing her. So we're going to be able to bring in a 10th speaker. But it's a variety of things from the nitty gritty of accounting and payroll and benefits to taking care of yourself, like.
Yep, we were talking about self-care and doing some moves, I think, through how to calm yourself down, stay grounded, and maybe stretch a little bit, because I think when we sit and type like
Are you
this,
going to take your shoes off at this
probably going to take my shoes off.
So everybody should
Thinking
wear
about-
clean socks.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Just,
Okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
some good hygiene is okay.
And then also, marketing and
Appreciate it.
messaging, like social media and like being able to tell your story and.
So what are
and
you
that
going
kind
to
of
talk
thing.
about?
So my session will focus on how to create an online presence that is really effective for you,
Okay.
how to create content for the right audience so that you can grow your brand.
I better not be talking while you're doing yours. 'cause I need to be there.
Oh, that's right, because you have so many
it's
speakers
gonna be
that
breakouts,
people
so.
are going to have to decide which ones they're
Yeah.
going to want to
Yeah.
take.
Yeah, I think getting people to come to this event is not going to be difficult. We have fantastic speakers. The tough part is going to be figuring out how I'm going to arrange the 9 speakers, especially because I'm one of the speakers, so I need to make sure I'm not opposite the ones I want to go. No,
Right.
I'm
You
not
don't
doing
want to
that
miss
To
anything.
coordinate, right?
one.
Well,
But-
you can be opposite. Never mind.
well,
Never mind.
But yes, it's going to be April 25th, and basically all day. It's going to be, I believe, 8 to 4 is the hours, and it includes breakfast and lunch.
Wow.
And part of the idea of it being all day also is the networking aspect, because of course that's my thing. There's going to be a structured networking event at the end, in which what we're going to do is all the attendees, we're going to put everyone's business card in a fishbowl and kind of do a little drawing, and those who we draw are going to get to stand up and say what they're looking for. So kind of give their ask to the
That's
room.
great.
Ooh, I
And,
like that.
and so
Yeah.
everyone can raise their hand, and then afterwards we'll open networking and they can all connect. But everyone will spend the whole day together, been through all these workshops together. So it's really kind of a chance for 60 people to bond and get to know each other.
Wonderful.
So
Well,
Nice activity.
I look for. We'll share it on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
definitely share it on Facebook. Yes. Yep.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. We only have like a minute. Is anybody saying, "Oh my gosh, I didn't say whatever"?
No. Happy to be
Okay.
here.
And the name of your business again?
Innovast Digital Marketing.
Okay. And the name of your business again?
I'm the grounded therapist.
And your business.
I am Michael Whitehouse, the guy who knows a guy.
Well, thank you so much for coming on my show, and it's been a lot of fun.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
a
All
lot
right,
of
so
fun.
now I
Thank
know
you.
2 new people, and
That's
I'll see
right,
you
now
around
we've met,
town.
yeah.
And thank you so much for joining us on the Lisa Saunders Show, and I'll see you next week.